Zara, climb my back. Let me help you.
Okay, boy.
What if the very thing that made you special was the same thing that made your own family hate you? What if you were born different, not to be loved, but to be punished? And what if the only one who truly understood you was not even human? This is the story of Zara, the girl with the white crown. Zara was not like other children. From the day she was born, people knew something about her was different. Her hair. It wasn't black like everyone else's. It wasn't even brown. It was white. Not old, faded white. But bright. Alive. Coily. Tall. It rose from her head like a crown, as if she had been marked by something no one could explain. When sunlight touched it, it shimmered. When the wind blew, it moved like it had a life of its own. People stopped to stare. Women whispered. Men shook their heads. Children pointed. Some called her beautiful. Some called her strange. But one thing was certain. No one ignored Zara. Except the people who should have loved her the most. Her mother was the only one who never looked at her differently. She would touch Zara's hair gently and smile. "You are special," she would say. "Never let anyone make you feel small." Zara believed her. Because when her mother spoke, everything felt safe. But safety doesn't always last. One morning, her mother didn't wake up. There was no warning. No sickness. No goodbye. Just silence. And from that day, Zara's world changed. At the burial, people cried loudly. But Zara didn't. She stood still, holding her mother's cloth, her white hair moving slowly in the wind. She was waiting. Waiting for her mother to come back. Waiting for someone to tell her it was a mistake. Waiting for her father to hold her. But he didn't. He stood far away. Like he had already let her go. Weeks later, he brought home another woman. Celine. She came with 3 children. Eden, Lena, and Kelvin. That was the day Zara stopped being a daughter and became a burden. Celine noticed Zara immediately. Not because she cared, but because of her hair. That white crown. That thing that made people stare. That thing she could not control. And from the moment she saw it, she hated it. At first, she smiled. But it didn't reach her eyes. "Zara," she said softly, "you will help around the house." Zara nodded. She didn't know that help would soon become everything. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into something heavier. Zara began waking up before sunrise. Sweeping. Washing. Fetching water from far distances. Cooking. Cleaning. Repeating. Over and over. While the others lived. Eden sat like he owned the house. He gave orders. He laughed when Zara struggled. And sometimes, he created problems just to watch her suffer. One afternoon, Zara had spent hours fetching water. Her arms were shaking. Her legs felt weak. She placed the bucket down carefully. And just as she turned, Eden kicked it. Water spilled across the ground. He smiled slowly. Go again. Zara looked at the water. Then at him. Then at the empty bucket. She said nothing. She just picked it up. And walked. Lena was different. Her cruelty was quieter. But deeper. She washed Zara constantly. Especially her hair. That white crown. Even when Zara was tired. Even when she was hungry. Even when she was covered in dust. She still looked radiant. And Lena couldn't stand it. Why do people always look at you? She once asked. Zara stayed silent. Answer me. Lena snapped. But Zara just lowered her eyes. That silence felt like an insult. Kelvin was the youngest. He didn't laugh like Eden. He didn't mock like Lena. He just watched. Sometimes, when no one was looking, his eyes softened. Like he understood something others didn't. But he never spoke. Because in that house, speaking could cost you everything. Food became another form of control. Every evening, the family gathered at the table. Plates full. Voices loud. Laughter everywhere. And Zara stood behind the kitchen door. Zara sat outside. Alone. The moonlight touched her white hair, making it glow softly. She wrapped her arms around herself. Cold. Hungry. Tired. Then she heard it. You're not alone. Zara froze. Her heart began to race. She looked around. No one. Then she looked
You're not
down.
alone.
A white dog stood there.
You heard me.
You spoke?
Still.
No, you
Watching
listened.
her.
That was the first time Zara met
You
Cairo.
heard me,
And from
the voice said again. Zara swallowed. You spoke. No, the voice replied calmly. You listened. That was how Zara met Cairo. From that night, she was no longer completely alone. They spoke without words. Thought to thought. Feeling to feeling. And for the first time since her mother died, Zara felt understood. At night, she would sit with him and whisper things she never said out loud. Why do they hate me? Cairo's voice would come gently. Because you remind them of something they don't have. What is that? Light. Days grew harder. Work increased. Punishments became frequent. Eden pushed her. Lena mocked her. Celine watched with cold satisfaction. And Kelvin struggled silently. One night, Kelvin approached Zara carefully. He held a small piece of bread. Take it, he whispered. Zara shook her head slightly. If they see you. They won't, he said quickly. But fear was already in his eyes. She hesitated. Then slowly, she took it. Their fingers brushed. For a moment. They both felt it. Human connection. Something rare in that house. But it didn't last. Eden saw them. And everything changed. What are you doing? Eden's voice cut through the darkness. Kelvin froze. Zara stepped back. I asked you something, Eden repeated, stepping closer. He was just, Zara tried to speak. Be quiet, Aiden snapped. He grabbed Kelvin roughly. You're helping her. Kelvin didn't respond. His silence said everything. Celine appeared. Her presence alone was enough to freeze the air. What is going on? She asked coldly. Aiden didn't hesitate. He's been feeding her. Celine's eyes shifted slowly to Kelvin. Then to Zara.
Kindness is
Then
disobedience in this house.
Kindness, she said quietly, is disobedience in this house. Kelvin was punished. Harshly. Zara watched. Unable to move. Unable to speak. Something inside her broke a little more. That night, she sat beside Cairo again. I didn't want him to get hurt, she whispered. Cairo responded softly. Light doesn't choose who it touches. Then came the night everything changed. The rain started early. Heavy. Relentless. The sky was dark before evening. Celine stood at the door. Zara in front of her. You will walk outside tonight, she said. Zara blinked. In the rain. Celine didn't answer. She just opened the gate. Go. Zara stepped outside. Rain hit her immediately. Cold. Sharp. Endless. Her dress clung to her body. Mud covered her feet. But her hair, her white crown, began to glow. Brighter than ever. Inside the house. They washed her. Aiden leaned against the wall. Unmoved. Lina crossed her arms. Conflicted. Kelvin stood near the door. Barely breathing. Hours passed. Zara's body grew weaker. Her legs trembled. Her vision blurred. Cairo, she whispered. I'm here, his voice replied instantly. Then,
Cairo?
she collapsed.
I'm here.
Inside the house, silence filled the room. Kelvin moved suddenly. I have to go. Aiden grabbed him hard. You're not going anywhere. But she. I said stay. Kelvin froze. Tears forming. Outside. The rain didn't stop. Cairo stood beside Zara. Still. Alert. Protective. Then. Headlights cut through the darkness. The car stopped. A man stepped out. He looked at Zara. At her glowing hair. At the dog standing guard. His expression changed. This child, he whispered, is not ordinary. He moved closer. Cairo didn't attack. But he didn't move either. He watched. Carefully. The man knelt down. He reached toward Zara. At that moment, her fingers twitched. Her hair flickered. The wind shifted. Something changed. Inside the house. They felt it. Aiden straightened. Lina stepped back. Kelvin's eyes widened. Outside. The air grew heavier. Cairo's eyes glowed faintly. The man froze. Because he felt it too. Something unseen. Something powerful. Something waking up. Zara's hand moved again. Her breathing deepened. Her white crown shimmered. Like it was alive. And in that moment, everything changed. because Zara was never just a girl. She was something more. Something they tried to break. Something they tried to bury. Something they never understood. And now, it was waking up.